Where did things sort of turn against your team tonight, in your estimation?
Well, I thought we started the game well. After the power play, their first power play, wasn't much after. Played a little bit in the third for a few minutes, but we looked pretty sluggish through it.
Are you surprised that they didn't have the energy coming off the road trip that didn't go the way you had a couple days off?
Well, sometimes those road trips work against you. You're coming across the time zones. You never know. That first game back's a tough one. I'm not sure if that's why. It's hard to pinpoint an answer, but as a group, we were sluggish right on through.
John, we talked to Scott Lawton a few minutes ago. He thought one of the problems was that the guys were too stretched out. There were defensemen and forwards on the other blue line. The gaps were too big. I guess, why do you think the team, do you agree, number one, and number two, if you do, why do you think the team was so disjointed?
I think at times, at other times, that's part of offense, trying to get in behind. I just don't think the biggest glare for me tonight is how many pucks we were beaten to. I think that spreads you out because guys keep on going. When they think you're going to get the puck, they keep on going. But that's where, and listen, give Montreal credit. I don't care how many injuries they have. That's a quick team. They move the puck quick. Even with their injuries, they've got some skill there, and give them some credit. But that's what I saw fall apart for us after the power play. They banged away on the power play, and then they took over by, I thought they thought quicker, and they were quicker to pucks. And that's why we get stuck in our end zone. As far as being stretched out, it's always important that you're connected in all three zones. Yeah, at times we were, but the biggest concern of mine was just the lack of quickness. Two pucks to the 50-50s, so we can get going the other way instead of being stuck in our end zone.
I guess kind of a follow-up to that about the lack of quickness. That was kind of what you said after, especially the first Seattle game.
Yeah.
This is 3 in the last 6 where you guys have lacked that quickness. How much of a concern is that it's a recurring problem?
Yeah, it's a concern. It's a concern of mine, and I'm not going to name names. I've had a concern. I had a concern 2 months ago about some guys and how much I've played them through the first part of the year, and when's it going to get, they get caught up in that. There's 2 or 3 guys that I have concerns about with that. Is that why? I don't know. It's so hard to, when your whole team looks sluggish, to really pinpoint something. But to answer your question, is a concern? Absolutely.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Thank you. When we spoke to Joel Farabee and Scott Lawton, they did mention the effort, that they saw effort tonight. What do you think about the effort on the ice? Did you see it? Was it there to your standard, or do you think it needed improvement?
There were some guys that competed hard. I'm not going to stand up here tonight and tell you that we got everything out of everybody. Most nights, as I've said right along, that hasn't been a problem. Tonight was, it wasn't a full group effort. I'll put it to you that way.
You talked about slow and sluggish. Owen Tippett on the other side of that looked like he was flying, and he got ice time sort of commensurate with a guy who's really had his motor going tonight.
Yeah, when we put that, remember, we put that line together earlier this year with Beezer, him, and Frosty. I like some of the minutes they played. Tip was a concern all night long. He's I always tell you, I think he's going to be a really good player for us. And you lose another game, you have some questions about certain things, but I look at some other things and where some players are improving. As you forecast and you look to the future, that's an exciting one.
Is that goal at the end of the first period in the microcosm of what you're talking about?
That's a kick in the teeth. You want to get out of a bad first period, just down by a couple, and it's just a nothing play with 3 seconds left. Yorkie chases for no reason. Just kill the clock. All you have to do is just defend the most important ice in front of the net instead of chasing, and the period will run out. It's not like we have to break out or anything. The period's over. That's a hard one to swallow. especially when the second half of the first period we were struggling.
You talked before about the offensive zone penalties. How frustrated were you with where that occurred, that first penalty?
Yeah. Those are tough ones. Tonight, that's not what's on my mind. There are a few other things other than the penalty in the offensive zone. There are a few other things that we've got to watch and try to get better at. Obviously, discipline's a very important one, but tonight there's a few other things on my mind other than that.
Even less than 24 hours now, how important is that, especially like you just said about the team wasn't fully effort up to your standards?
Yeah, we'll have a really tough time tomorrow if we don't. And I because you guys kind of run with it sometimes. I want to make sure. I don't think anybody was lazy. I just think, and it's the only way I know how to put it. Sometimes guys just play hard, and some guys play hard. I think we had a deficiency tonight. I don't think we're all there. I'm hoping we answer the proper way. We'll get it fed to us tomorrow.
John, the context that you attributed to the sluggishness that you were referring to, you able to keep like the Canadiens playing fast and coming back from the Western swing? Are you able to keep that in perspective within game, or is that something that comes to you after the game?
I mean, as far as the trip coming back and playing this game?
Yeah, just that context that you provided for what you saw on the ice tonight, does that come to you in game, or is it
No.
after the game that you've had a chance to cool down for a bit?
Even before the game. It's just known, and I got to be careful because I don't want to use it as an excuse. You got to fight through it, but they're tough games. That first game back, and you talk to any player, any coach in the league, they're always it's a tough game coming off the West Coast, and tried to do it. I think we did it the right way. It was a long travel day. Gave them a full day off yesterday, but those time zones, it gets to you. And again, I don't know if that's the reason, but I certainly have to keep that in mind as far as, especially when you see a whole group do it. You know, we just weren't quick and didn't read plays, and that was the hard part for me. Just losing so many puck battles and the quickness to it. So I don't know, we'll find out tomorrow. We got another one pretty soon.
What went into the decision to play Justin Braun on the wing tonight?
I wanted to play Justin Braun on the wing tonight. And we were going to use him penalty killing. Shawzy was interested in using him in penalty killing. I want to play Bronner. I just haven't seen enough from Kiefer to keep him in the lineup. We wanted a utility coming off. If we had a power play, we were going to use Bronner in that situation because Tony and Yorkie would be on the power play. So we had some thoughts about playing him some defense too, but I wanted to put him in the lineup. And I just don't, I think Kiefer's trying. I just don't think he's done enough to stay in the lineup.